On the morning my son marched me into a memory test to take my house in accounts, the judge already had my capacity letter and recorded calls. By next sundown, the only person barred by the court was my son. My name is Richard Hale. I am 68 years old. I am a grandfather who makes his own coffee, pays his own bills, and reads the paper front to back. I built cabinets for 39 years, and I still keep my pencils sharp and my receipts in order. I loved my wife for 43 years. I buried her on a windy Thursday. I kept the house we made, the tools we bought, and the ring she wore in a little blue dish by the sink. I thought those things were safe. I thought family meant the same thing to all of us. I was wrong. I poured coffee at my kitchen table. The morning was quiet. The clock ticked. My son came in without knocking. He smiled like a host, not a guest. My daughter-in-law stood behind him with a canvas tote and eyes that moved over my counters like she was counting. "Dad, we should streamline your bills," he said. "Make things easier. Put everything on one card. I'll handle it. You can relax." "I am relaxed, Evan," I said. I took a small sip. The cup was warm in my hand. His hand reached for my wallet on the table like it had been his all along. My daughter-in-law picked up the little blue dish. She rolled my wife's ring between two fingers. "This should go somewhere safe," she said. "You could lose it." "It has been safe in that dish for years," I said. She slipped it into the canvas tote like a receipt. "Just for now," she said. "Temporary." My son opened my mail without asking. "Auto insurance," he said, like a detective. "Lots of paper here. We can get it all digital." He slid the envelopes into a stack near his elbow. He kept his elbow on them. "Leave my mail," I said. My voice was even. I heard my own father in it. I did not raise my voice around my family unless there was a fire. He smiled again. "We're helping. You're getting older. Things slip." I looked at him. He was a boy on his first bike again for a moment. Then he was a man reaching past my boundaries because it was easier than asking. I wondered when that changed. I wondered what I had missed. "Take your coffee, Dad," my daughter-in-law said. "Go sit. Let us clean up your desk." "That is my desk, Tara," I said. "It is already clean." She took the spare keys from the hook by the back door. "I'll bring them right back," she said. "Temporary." She said the word like a promise, but it felt like a door closing. They moved through my kitchen like movers. If I spoke, they smiled. If I reached for something, they had a comment. When they finally left, my son patted my shoulder. "Trust us," he said. "You'll thank us soon." The door closed. The house was quiet again. I looked at the hook by the door. Empty. I looked at the blue dish. Empty. I wrote the date and the time in my notebook. Then I called my granddaughter and asked if she wanted to come over Sunday. She said yes. Her mother's voice answered in the background before the line clicked off. I stood at the sink and stared at the empty dish for a long minute, and then I saw something else, a faint indent on the counter where a file box had sat. It was not there anymore. I opened the cabinet where I kept my papers and felt the hollow where the box had been, and I knew they had a plan that did not include me. I went to their house for dinner 2 nights later. I brought a pie from the bakery my wife liked. My daughter-in-law took the box and set it aside like it was one more thing to file. My son pulled out a chair for me like a waiter. They were sweet as honey in front of my granddaughter. She drew with crayons at the table. She drew our house with a big window and a little figure at the door. She put me there. "We were talking," my son said. He cut the chicken like he was on television. "The house is too much for you, Dad. Winter is coming. It is not safe to be alone out there." "It is safer than being under someone else's thumb," I said. I kept my voice low. My daughter-in-law showed me a glossy booklet she had on the counter. "Options," she said. Pictures of smiling people in matching chairs filled the pages. You could be somewhere comfortable by December. I am comfortable, I said. I could feel my wife's ring missing like a bruise. Where is her ring? In the safe, she said. You're welcome. My son cleared his throat. You have a doctor's appointment next week, Dad, he said. Memory clinic. Just routine. We found a cancellation. We'll take you. I did not make that appointment, I said. We made it for you, he said. You forget things. You missed a bill last month. I did not miss a bill, I said. I knew what I paid. I knew the day each bill fell. I knew what I had covered for them, too. I had not forgotten. My granddaughter looked up at me. Are you coming to my winter concert? She asked. I would not miss it, I said. I tried to keep my eyes on her and not on the glossy booklet with the chairs. After dinner, while my son took the plates, I stepped into the hallway. Their office door was open. The computer screen showed a real estate website. Our street was in the search bar. The tab next to it said Neurology, Appointment Confirmation. My full name was there. The date and time were there. Tuesday, 9 a.m. I walked back to the table and sat down. My daughter-in-law handed me tea. You will thank us, she said. This is a lot of responsibility for us. My son touched my hand. We love you, Dad, but we have to be practical. Practical. That word sat on my tongue like a bitter seed. Love did not look like a sale listing. Love did not look like a test you set for someone who was not sick. On my way out, I opened their front closet and saw my file box on the floor under their coats, and I knew they were not going to ask me for permission for anything. They came to my house on Saturday morning with coffee and smiles. The sky was clear. The porch rail was cold under my hand. They walked in like they owned the place. My son set the coffee on the table without a coaster. My daughter-in-law lifted her phone and took a picture of the living room. Send that to Maya, she said, for the listing. She can do a pocket pre-market. She said it like a code I was not supposed to hear. What listing? I asked. My son kept his eyes on me. We are trying to help, Dad, he said. No need to get upset. Do not talk to me like I am a child, I said. I took my wallet from my pocket and put it under the newspaper. I did it without thinking. I saw his eyes flick to it. We need your PINs, he said. We cannot keep patching things without access. You will forget. Let us set up everything. It will be clean. I remember, I said. I remember what is mine. I remember what I paid for you when you could not pay. My daughter-in-law folded her arms. It is not about the past, she said. It is about what is best. What is best for who? I asked. She looked away. My son leaned forward. This house is sitting, he said. Value is going to drop. You will be better somewhere with people your age. With people who can be paid to watch me, I said. Because you do not want to. He flinched. It was a small thing, but I saw it. He wanted the result without the work. He wanted the upgrade without the bill. Give me the keys we took, I said. Today. They are safe, she said. They are mine, I said. No one spoke. A car slowed in front of the house. A woman leaned out with a phone and took a picture of my porch. My son glanced at her and then at me. Just getting a head start, he said. I stood up. Get out of my house, I said. My voice did not rise. It did not have to. Now. He stood too. The old tug-of-war between us snapped tight. We are doing what needs to be done, he said. You are doing what is easy for you, I said. Do not come back without my keys. They left. The coffee sat on the table, cold and untouched. I stared at the dent on the counter where the file box used to sit. I thought about my wife's hands. I thought about my granddaughter's drawing. I felt something harden in me that had been soft for too long. That night I could not sleep. I walked the rooms. I named the things we had earned. The oak table I had sanded 100 times. The kitchen I had painted twice. The little blue dish without a ring. I placed my hand on each surface like I was telling it, I see you. I am still here. My phone lit up after midnight. A text from my son. Be ready Tuesday at 9 for your evaluation. We will pick you up. Do not drive. I sat in my chair and held the phone until the screen went dark. Evaluation. They wanted a paper to say I was less than I am. They wanted to take my life and call it care. I thought about all the nights I had gone to his apartment with a toolkit when the sink was broken or the door stuck. I thought about the 2 months of daycare I had paid when he was between jobs. I thought about how he used to call me when he was lost in the city and how easy it had been to give him a street name and a turn and get him where he needed to go. I did not know how to give him a turn now. I opened the fridge and saw my granddaughter's drawing stuck to the door with a magnet. The little figure at the door had a smile. She had written Grandpa in shaky letters. I ran my finger over the lines, careful not to smudge them. I spoke out loud to the empty kitchen. This is not love, I said. This is hunger. The house answered with its ordinary sounds, the hum of the fridge, the tick of the clock, the old floor settling. I felt a calm I had not felt in days. I was not weak. I was not confused. I was tired, and I was angry, and I was clear. The phone buzzed again. A voicemail. My son's voice, careful and firm. We have everything lined up, Dad. Do not make this hard. We will handle it. I set the phone face down. I made a cup of tea and waited for the kettle to sing. I watched the steam rise and fade. I wrote the time and his exact words in my notebook. I underlined the date. I put the notebook away. I turned off the kitchen light, sat in the dark, and decided I would go to that appointment on Tuesday and let them think I was walking into their plan. Soon I'm going to turn their lives upside down. You don't want to miss it. But before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are now. Monday morning I woke before the sun. I made coffee and could not taste it. I drove to the bank when the doors opened. The manager knew me by name. She saw my face and walked me to her office. I need statements, I said. 3 years. Full printouts. She nodded. We can do that. Is everything okay? My son is not, I said. My voice shook once and then steadied. I need to see what I have done for him. I need my own numbers in my hand. She printed the pages and set them in a stack. It was thick and plain. Rent help. A mechanic in March. Daycare in July. The same grocery store 3 blocks from their place. My card paying when theirs would not. I ran my finger down the dates. I did not need to say anything. The paper said it. If anyone tries to move money you did not authorize, she said, we will call you first. Please do, I said. Call me. Only me. When I walked out, the day was clear and cold. My phone rang on the steps. My son. I let it buzz once more and then pressed the little recorder in my pocket. It flashed red. Hey, Dad, he said. His voice was bright, forced. Reminder for tomorrow. 9 a.m. memory clinic. We will pick you up. Do not drive. I will be ready, I said. We will also stop by after to sort your desk, he said. We found a buyer for the truck. No point letting it sit. The truck is not for sale, I said. It is all part of the plan, he said. You will thank us. Whose plan? I asked. Ours, he said. He said it like there was no other answer in the world. We hung up. I stood on the sidewalk and watched people carry their mornings past me. I thought about all the times I had taught him to hold a level steady, to check the cut twice before he put a blade to wood. He was not checking now. He was cutting blind because it was faster. Back home, I set the statement stack beside my notebook. I called my doctor. She had known me 20 years. Come this afternoon, she said. Bring your list of medicines. Bring your questions. I sat at my kitchen table and waited for the clock to move. I looked at the blue dish by the sink and felt the ghost of a ring that was not there. I did not feel fragile. I felt tired. I felt angry. I felt clear. I picked up the phone and called my daughter-in-law. The recorder blinked again. "When will you return my keys?" I asked. "They are safe," she said. "Stop worrying." "When will you return my wife's ring?" "It is in the safe," she said. "It is better there." "It is better on my counter," I said. "You will thank us for this," she said. "We are being very practical." "You are being greedy," I said. I did not raise my voice. "Bring back what you took." She hung up. I set the phone down and wrote her words in my notebook. Then I circled tomorrow on the calendar and wrote one sentence under it. "I will be ready." I took the little recorder from my pocket, set it in the center of the table, and pressed it again as the front door opened to the afternoon, because I knew the next calls would matter. At 7:30 a.m., I forwarded the recordings and Dr. Liu's letter to the court clerk. I filed them with the clerk for the emergency docket. The stamped receipt sat on top of my file box. My son and daughter-in-law pulled into my driveway at 8:40 a.m. I watched them from the window. My son straightened his jacket like he was walking into a job interview. My daughter-in-law carried a folder. "Good morning," I said. I locked the back door behind me. I kept my keys in my pocket. In the car, they spoke to each other like I was not there. "If we can get in place before Christmas," she said. "The market will be high through November," he said. I looked at my hands and counted the old scars from tools and winter. They had all healed. At my doctor's office, she came out and took my hand. It should have been a quick check-in since we'd done the full exam yesterday. "Richard," she said, "let us talk alone first." My son started to speak. She held up a palm. "I will bring you in," she said. "Sit." Inside, she asked me simple questions. My address, the date, the names of my medicines. She asked who was president. She asked how I felt. I told her the truth. "I sleep less," I said. "I think more." "Do you forget to eat?" "Do you get lost?" she asked. "No," I said. "I forget where I set my pencil sometimes." "I have done that since I was 30. She smiled. She looked into my eyes for a long moment. She wrote something on her pad. "You are fine," she said. "You are grieving, and you are mad. That is sane." She called my son in. "Your father is capable of making his own decisions," she said. "He can live alone. He can manage his affairs." My daughter-in-law clutched her folder. "But he missed a bill." "I did not," I said. "Show me which one." She did not answer. She looked to my son. He forced a laugh. "Of course," he said. "Just good to check in." We left and drove to the clinic they had scheduled. I did the tests they asked without fuss. I repeated the words. I drew the shapes. I counted backward by sevens. I saw my son's jaw tighten when I did not stumble. The staff was kind. They gave me a printed page that said my mind was clear. In the parking lot, he stopped me by the car door. "We will still handle the house," he said. "You are not seeing the big picture." "I see you," I said. "I see what you are doing." He put his hand on my shoulder. "Do not make this hard." "It is already hard," I said. "You are the one carrying a folder to replace me." He took his hand away. My daughter-in-law stared at the asphalt like it would tell her what to say next. I asked for a ride home. I sat in the back seat and watched the town I had built cabinets in for half my life pass by the window. Familiar streets, stores I had worked on, doors I had hung, things that stayed where you placed them if you did the work right. We pulled into my driveway. My son kept the engine running. "We will be back at noon," he said. "We have someone coming to look at the house." "You do not have a key that works," I said. "And you do not have permission." His eyes flashed. "We will see," he said. They left. The car's sound fell away. The house stood quiet and steady. I took out my own folder. It held the doctor's page and the sheets I had printed from the bank. I placed them on the table and felt my hands stop shaking. I called a locksmith, said my address, and told him I needed every lock changed before noon. The locksmith came fast. He was young. He carried a small case and spoke as if we were fixing a porch light. I liked that. He did not make a ceremony out of my fear. "Front and back," I said. "And the garage." "No problem," he said. The old locks came out like loose teeth. New metal slid in and turned smooth. He handed me 2 sets of keys. "Keep one on you," he said. "Hide the other somewhere nobody looks." I held the new keys. They were cool in my palm. I thought about the hook by the door in the empty space there. I hung 1 set on that hook again. It looked right. I walked him out and paid him. On the porch I saw a car creeping down the street like it was weighing numbers. My son's. It did not stop. It drifted past and kept going. I felt my chest loosen 1 notch. Inside, I made a new file in a clean box from the hardware store. I wrote simple labels: house, bank, insurance. I slid my doctor's page into the front sleeve. I put my granddaughter's drawing under the lid where I would see it every time I opened the box. The doorbell rang. A courier stood there with 2 envelopes. One had my name, one had theirs. I signed for both. He left as quick as he came. I opened mine at the table. It was a simple letter from my doctor. It had the words my son did not want to hear. It had her signature. It did not need to be fancy. It only needed to be clear. I set the second envelope aside. I did not need to read it. I knew what it said because I had asked someone fair and calm to help me write it the day before. It asked for my keys back. It said to stop using my things. It said, "Return what you took." It said, "Do not enter my house unless I ask." I made lunch and ate half of it and could not taste any of it. I washed the plate and dried it and put it away. I checked the front camera the locksmith had mounted by my request. It sent a clean little picture of my steps to my phone. Empty. The phone buzzed with a text from my daughter-in-law. 1 line. "We got something from you. You did not have to do this." I typed back. "Return my keys. Return the ring. Do not come without asking." The dots danced and then stopped. No reply. I walked room to room and told the house each thing I had done like I was telling an old friend. I closed the back door and turned the new lock once, twice. It felt solid. Noon hit. Their car turned into my driveway. Their car doors opened. My son's face was set like stone. My daughter-in-law had her folder again. A woman I did not know stood by the curb with a binder and a smile that did not reach her eyes. They walked to the front steps. The unknown woman lifted her phone to take a photo of the door. My son reached for the knob as if he were doing me a favor. He turned the key he had taken days ago. It did not turn. He tried again. The key made a clean, useless click. He looked through the glass and saw me at the table. He saw the envelope with his name. He kept his mouth tight. He knocked like a stranger. I stood and walked to the door. I did not open it. I held the new keys in my hand where he could see them. "We need to come in," he said. "Maya needs to see the space." "Who is Maya?" I asked. "The agent," my daughter-in-law said. "We talked about this." "No," I said. "You talked at me." "You never asked me." My son leaned closer to the glass. "Do not be dramatic," he said. "Let us in." "This is my house," I said. "Say the words back to me." He stared. He did not speak. "Return my keys," I said. "Return my ring. Do not come here unless I ask." My daughter-in-law's mouth was a thin line. "You are making us look bad," she said. "You did that yourself," I said. I held up the envelope and pointed at his name. I set it at the edge of the mat and opened the storm door enough to slide it out. I did not open the main door. I watched him pick the envelope up and weigh it like it could change its own contents by force. The agent cleared her throat. "We can reschedule," she said to them. "We can talk about strategy." He kept his eyes on me. "We will fix this," he said low. It is not broken, I said. You just do not own it. He turned without a word and walked to the car. The agent followed, talking fast. My daughter-in-law stayed one beat longer and looked at the little hook by the door where the keys hung. Then she saw the camera. She looked down. They drove away. The house was quiet again. The envelope in his hand was out of mine now. It would do its work without a word from me. I sat back down at the table. I laid my hand on the new file box. I breathed in, slow. The blue dish still waited by the sink. Empty, but waiting. I thought about my granddaughter's drawing. I thought about Sunday. I thought about how to make it gentle for her and firm for them. My phone lit up with an alert from the bank about a blocked attempt on my account, and I knew that they didn't understand how much of a mistake that action was. Now I had everything I needed, and only needed to push the justice hammer slightly to reclaim my life. Next morning, my phone rang. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. Then it rang again. I answered. Mr. Hale? Maya Chen, the voice said. I'm the agent Evan hired. Hired for what? I asked. She sighed. He told me he had authority to show and list your house. I put a coming soon on a private board. I just checked the records, and a notice came through this morning. Your name is still the only owner. There's a note that says no third-party access. He never mentioned that. I don't work with lies. I looked at the front door. The new lock caught the light. Thank you for calling, I said. I'm withdrawing, she said. You should also know he sent me copies of your keys and your driver's license last week. That felt wrong then. It feels worse now. That explains a lot, I said. Please delete them. Already done, she said. I'm sorry. He sounded like a son helping a father. He sounded like that to me too, I said, and the line went quiet for a breath. I hung up and set the phone down. A text flashed from Evan. We're showing the house at noon with Maya. Be presentable. I typed back. Maya called me. There will be no showing, no reply. Then Tara. You're embarrassing us. Think of Ellie. We're trying to set everyone up right. My stomach turned. They wanted to use my granddaughter's name as a lever. They always use the softest thing like a tool. I called Ellie's school. I asked what time her winter concert was. The secretary gave me the date and time. I wrote it on the calendar. I pictured Ellie with her violin, chin lifted, our eyes catching across the gym. It steadied me. It was almost noon when a car pulled up. Not their car, a small silver sedan. A woman my age stepped out with a clipboard. She looked at the address and at me through the glass. She spoke through the storm door. I'm from the title office, she said. I'm confirming occupancy. There's been a lot of activity on this property in the last 48 hours. I'm Richard, I said. I live here. Alone. She nodded. That's what our screen says. If anyone tries to sign anything for you, we will call you directly. She pointed to a number. Is this yours? Yes, I said. You have a good day, Mr. Hale, she said. And a calm one if you can. I locked the door after she left and stood in the front room. The quiet was a clean sheet. The anger came and went like a tide. Then the doorbell rang hard and fast. Evan and Tara were on the steps and Maya stood at the curb with her arms folded and her face closed. I did not open the door. Evan leaned in toward the glass. Open up, Dad, he said. We have a schedule. You have a story you told yourselves, I said. The truth does not match it. He glared. Tara lifted her phone like a shield. People are watching, she whispered. Do not make us look like monsters. You did that yourselves, I said, and let the silence sit. Evan's fist hit the door hard enough to rattle the frame, and he yelled one line I had never heard from him before. You owe us your future. My phone buzzed in my hand as his words faded. A call from the bank. I let it ring once, twice. Then I picked up. "Mr. Hale, this is Elaine Porter at First Harbor," she said. "We flagged a large transfer request from an IP address tied to Tara's account. It tried to move $10,000 from your savings. We blocked it. Do you approve this?" "No," I said, "I do not." "We have the attempt logged. We will place an additional hold on remote transfers unless you are in the branch. Do you want that?" "Yes," I said. My eyes were on Evan through the glass. He was pacing, reading my face. I turned away. "Do you want to press charges?" she asked. "Not today," I said. "Today I want a record." "You have one," she said. "I'm printing it now. It will be here when you come." "Thank you, Ms. Porter," I said. "It helps." I hung up. My hands were steady. I opened the door a crack and stepped onto the porch. I closed it behind me. Evan stood at the bottom of the steps like a challenger. Tara stayed on the sidewalk, eyes darting between us and Maya. "What did the bank say?" he asked. "That my money will not be moved without me," I said. "That your attempt is in a file now." His face flinched, then froze. "We told you everything would be easier if you let us handle it," he said. "You are making this a fight." "This became a fight when you took what was not yours," I said. "Return my keys." "Return the ring," Tara spoke up. "It's safe," she said. "We've said this." "It is not safe with you," I said. "You have made that clear." Maya took a half step closer, careful. "Evan," she said low, "I'm stepping away from this. You didn't tell me the truth, that's all I need to say." He rounded on her. "You said you'd help, Maya." "I said I'd help market a house for its owner," she said. "He is the owner." "He is standing right there." Tara's mouth tightened. "You two are ruining our timeline," she said. A car slowed by the curb. A neighbor stared. I felt the heat of humiliation climbing my neck and pressed it down. I would not be the one to raise my voice. I would not be the one to beg. "You can still fix this," Evan said. "Sign power of attorney. Let us move things. You can stay in the guest room for a while. We'll cover your meals." "Listen to yourself," I said. "Hear the shape of those words." "We are being practical," he said louder. "You're old." "I am older than you," I said. "I am not yours." He laughed once, mean and small. "We're done asking," he said. "We have another path." "What path?" I asked. He glanced at Tara. They shared a look that told me this had been the plan for days. "You'll see," he said. "Get some sleep, Dad. Big day tomorrow." He walked back to the car. Tara followed, stiff. Maya did not move until they were inside the car. Then she looked up at me. "I have a father," she said. "We do not do this to him." "I have a son," I said. "I did not think he would do this to me." She nodded once and left. I called Evan. I did not text. He picked up on the second ring. "Come at 6, I said. "No agent. No neighbor. 1 hour. We will talk like family, or we will not talk again." He laughed. "Fine," he said. "We'll close this out." At 5:30 I set the table like it was Sunday dinner. Not food. Paper. On the left, the stack from the bank, clipped neat. In the middle, my doctor's page with her signature. On the right, a simple letter that did not need a long name. It said what I wanted and what I would not accept. Under that, my notebook opened to the page with their words copied down, dates and times. At 6 on the dot, my doorbell rang. I opened the door and stepped aside. "Sit," I said. Evan took his old chair without asking. Tara stood until I pointed. She sat. "We grew up at this table," he said. "Don't make it a courtroom." "I am not," I said. "This is still a kitchen." "The rules are simple." "What rules?" he asked. "You listen. Then you answer." He rolled his eyes. "Get on with it." I placed the bank stack between us and slid the top page toward him. 3 years, I said. Rent help. Repairs, groceries, daycare. 10,000 you tried to move today. I know what I did. I know what you tried to do. He skimmed, then pushed the paper back like it burned. "We never asked you to pay for any of that," he said. "You asked every time," I said. "Sometimes with words. Sometimes with silence." Tara leaned in. "So you're keeping score," she said. "I am keeping records," I said. "They were all I had left when you took the rest." I set the doctor's page on the wood. Evan did not touch it. "Dr. Liu," I said. "She has seen me for 20 years. She says I am clear. I can make my own choices. Whatever you file tomorrow will have to step over this." Evan glanced at Tara. She stared hard at the grain of the table. "Doctors can be wrong," she said. "They can," I said. "But this one is not." I turned my notebook so they could read. I read his words from the porch aloud. "We will fix this. We're done asking. We have another path." I read Tara's. "You're embarrassing us." "Think of Ellie." I let Ellie's name hang there a moment. It did not belong in their mouths like that. Evan stood. "You're weaponizing this," he said. "I am defending my life," I said. "Return the keys. Return the ring. Tell Ellie I love her and that adults make mistakes they regret. Do not bring her into this again." Tara's eyes flashed. "We will not be written out of the story," she said. "You wrote yourselves out the minute you tried to sell what was not yours," I said. Evan pushed his chair back so hard it scraped. "See you in the morning," he said. "A judge likes documents even more than you do." I looked at the papers between us. "We will find out," I said. "Close the door on your way out." I watered the fern in the corner and straightened the stack on the table. I checked the front camera. The porch was empty. The street was quiet. The house felt like a held breath. My phone lit up with Ellie's name. I let it ring once, then answered. "Hi, kiddo," I said. "Mom says you're going to be busy tomorrow," she said. Her voice was small. "Are you coming to my concert in December?" "I wrote it on my calendar," I said. "Front row if I can fight a few parents for it." She giggled. Then she whispered, "Grandpa, are you sad?" "I am a little sad," I said. "Grown-ups are arguing. They are wrong to do it this way. I'm going to make it right." "Okay," she said. "I made you another drawing. I'll bring it Sunday." "I will make stew," I said. "Extra carrots." We hung up. I sat with the phone in my hand and let my eyes sting without shame. Ellie did not ask me for anything. She only asked if I would be there. That was love. The rest was noise. At 8:30 there was a knock. Not the doorbell. A knock. I stood in the dark and looked through the peephole. A man in a windbreaker held a folder and a small badge. I opened the storm door, but not the main door. He slid a paper between the doors. "You've been served," he said. "Hearing at 9 a.m. tomorrow." "Thank you," I said. He nodded and left. It was simple, and it was cold. I set the paper on the table. The words blurred for a second, then cleared. I did not read every line. I did not need to. I knew what it meant. Evan and Tara wanted me declared less than I am. I made tea. I called Dr. Liu again and left a message. I called Miss Porter and left one too. "Tomorrow at 9, I said. "If anyone asks, please tell the truth you saw." I took my suit from the back of the closet. I ran my hand across the shoulder. I had worn it for my wife's funeral. It still held a faint smell of cedar from the hanger. I set out a white shirt and a tie she had liked. Blue with a thin silver stripe. I walked the rooms once more. I touched the empty blue dish. I touched the new lock. I put Ellie's drawing into the front of my file box, right on top of the doctor's page. I placed the box by the door. I did not sleep much. I did not need to. I listened to the old clock count the hours and felt my breath match it. I was not powerless. I was not alone. People knew me. People knew the truth. At dawn, I sat on the edge of my bed, tied my tie, and watched the first light touch the ring-shaped indent on the counter. Then I picked up the file box and walked toward the day. I arrived early. The hallway smelled like floor wax and cold air. I sat on a bench with my file box beside me and watched the clock. Dr. Liu walked in with a neat coat and a calm face. She sat beside me and patted my hand once. No speeches. It helped. Evan and Tara came late. He wore a suit that did not fit his shoulders. She had the same folder she carried everywhere now. They did not look at me. A clerk called our case. We took our seats. The room was bright and plain. The judge read for a long minute without looking up. Then he lifted his eyes. "Mr. Hale," he said, "do you know where you are?" "In court," I said. "Downtown. Tuesday morning. Do you know why?" "My son and his wife want control of my life," I said. "I do not consent." He nodded. He turned his head. "Dr. Liu?" She stood. "I have treated Mr. Hale for 20 years, she said. "He is capable. He understands his affairs. He can live alone. He remembers better than most of my staff." A dry cough in the back of the room. The judge raised a finger. No more sound. Evan spoke without being asked. "He missed bills," he said. "He misplaces things. He is not safe." Dr. Liu did not look at him. "He grieves," she said. "He makes lists. He keeps appointments. He is safer than the average man his age." The judge turned a page. "We also have a note from First Harbor," he said. "A blocked transfer attempt. $10,000. Initiated from an account tied to Mrs. Tara Hale." Tara stared at the table. Her hands were flat and still. She said, "It was a mistake." The judge looked at me again. "Do you want your son to manage your life?" he asked. "No," I said. The word felt clean. He set the file down. "Petition denied," he said. "No guardianship. No conservatorship. Each party will pay their own costs." He paused. "Return the father's property by 5 o'clock today. Keys. Personal items. Do not enter his home without permission." Evan's jaw twitched. He said nothing. The judge tapped the file once. "Last," he said. "The court notes the attempted transfer. I won't open that box today, but I see it." The clerk called the next case. People stood. The room moved around us like water. Evan kept his eyes on the floor. Tara held her folder like a shield that finally felt thin. I lifted the file box. Dr. Liu squeezed my shoulder and left with a simple line. "Go home, Richard," she said. "Eat lunch. Let your hands stop shaking." In the hallway, Ms. Porter's voice came through my phone. She had left a message while we were inside. "You're fine," she said. "It's on record. If you need a copy, it will be on my desk." I stepped into the cold and felt the sun on my face. A small boy held his mother's hand and skipped down the steps. I remembered Evan at that size. The memory landed and stayed. By the curb, Evan finally looked at me. No words, just a hard stare. Something closed behind his eyes. He turned away. Tara followed, quiet, like the sound had gone out of the day. I waited for them at the kitchen table. The blue dish sat by the sink, empty as a truth you can see through. The new lock clicked clean whenever I tested it. At 3:30, a courier knocked. He handed me a small padded envelope and left before I could thank him. Inside was my wife's ring. No note. It was cold from the air. I set it in the dish. It did not make a sound. It fit the space like a hand finds its old tool. I exhaled and did not realize I had been holding my breath until then. At 4:15, a car door slammed. I watched from the hall. Evan and Tara walked to the steps. She held out 2 keys on a ring. He had 1 more key alone in his palm. I opened the door but left the storm door closed. "Keys," I said. He dropped his into my hand. It was scratched. It had been mine for years. Tara slid the others through the gap. Her eyes were tired. "You made us look like thieves," she said. I kept my face still. "You did that yourselves." Evan set a small box on the mat. "Photos," he said. "Paperwork." "Do not keep copies," I said. He stared past me, stubborn even now. "We were helping you," he said, softer than before. I did not hear apology. I heard loss. "Help is what you offer after you ask," I said, "not after you take." His eyes flicked to the blue dish by the sink. He saw the ring. His mouth tightened. "We could have used that," he said. I did not step back. "That sentence is why you will stand on the other side of this door unless I tell you otherwise." He laughed, short and bitter. "You'll die alone, Dad." "Everyone dies alone," I said. "I'm living with my door locked." He looked at the camera over the porch and adjusted his jaw like it hurt. Tara touched his sleeve. "We should go," she said. I nodded once. "There will be a letter tomorrow," I said. "It says you do not enter my house. You do not touch my accounts. You do not use my name. You want to see me, you ask. You want to see Ellie, you keep my name out of it." Tara flinched. Evan did not move. "Sharp enough?" I asked. My voice did not rise. Evan turned. He walked down the steps. Tara followed. The car started. They sat for a long second at the curb like they might say something that would matter. Then they drove away. No wave. No look back. I closed the door. I turned the lock. Once. Twice. The house settled. The next morning I went to the bank with a small plan. I sat with Miss Porter and signed what needed signing. Not much. Simple. I opened a small college fund for Ellie. I put my wife's name on a scholarship at the high school. 2 tools and 2 books for a kid in shop class every spring. It was not grand. It was solid. "Good idea," Miss Porter said. "Looks like you." Back home, I wrote a letter to Ellie. I did not explain the fight. I told her stories about her grandmother. I told her how we built the porch and how we burned the first stew and laughed and ate sandwiches instead. I told her I would be at her concert even if I had to stand in the doorway. Sunday came. I made stew. Ellie walked in with her violin and a new drawing. She ran to the kitchen and stuck it on the fridge with a magnet. This one showed the house with 2 figures. One at the door, one in the yard, both smiling. Evan dropped her off and stayed on the porch, hands in pockets, eyes on the street. He looked older than a week ago. He did not try the handle. He did not ask to come in. 2 hours, he said. 2 hours, I said. He nodded and walked back to his car. No other words. There was something like regret around him, thin as winter sun. I did not grab it. I let it pass. Ellie ate 2 bowls and asked for more carrots. We practiced her piece. She made 3 mistakes and fixed all 3. She handed me a small box she had decorated with stickers. "For Grandma's ring," she said. "So it has a place." "It has one," I said, and showed her the blue dish. She smiled and touched the ring with one finger. She did not lift it. She understood weight. After I took her home, I drove to the lake my wife loved. I sat on a bench and watched the water hold the afternoon light. I thought about Evan at 5, at 15, at 35. I thought about the words we had said this week and the ones we did not. I did not pretend there was no damage. I did not pretend time would fix all of it. When I got home, the house was quiet and right. I checked the locks. I put my wallet in the same drawer. I set my keys on the hook. I placed Ellie's new drawing under the lid of the file box. I turned off the kitchen light and stood for a small minute with my hand on the counter where the ring's shape had been. I am a grandfather. I am not a ward. I am not a fool. My life is mine. My door opens when I decide, and it closes the same way. Is setting the boundary the same as losing a son, or the only way to save myself? Would you forgive a son who booked a memory test to erase you? Give me your thoughts in the comments section.
My grandpa's worst really happened. I believe him. If you want more true tales stories like this, hit subscribe.